Greetings from Snake Mountain Boatworks on Wednesday, November 22, 2017, the day before Thanksgiving. We're hard at work in the shop, and John is especially hard at work working his magic, beginning the buffing process on the 1959 17-foot chris-craft Sportsman. So we will remind you of the Snake Mountain Boatworks buffing process, and John will take it away from here. Achieves the most incredibly glossy and deep finish possible. John, take it away.
Well, after 20 coats of perfection varnish, we had already sanded this a couple of times during the process of putting the varnish on, but after the varnish is on, we got a good hard shell coat finish, and then I take the 1000 grit sandpaper and put it on a flat block and block sand the varnish until it's dull. And I try to get all the pits out of it, all the imperfections out of it, everything out of it. This seems to be a good thick coat, and I'm getting like 99% of the flaws out of the finish with the 1000 grit. Of course, I'm going to continue with 1200, 1500, 2000 grit sandpaper. After the 2000 grit sandpaper is got it nice and after I got it sanded with the 2000 grit sandpaper, then I will take my buffing compound and I will start buffing the boat. But this is quite the procedure, just sanding the boat, because I started out, I go over it with the 1000 grit wet sanding, and the reason I'm using the wet sanding method is to keep the dust down, and if I clean up behind myself quite often, then I end up with no residue to deal with after the end and no dust. So what I've done is I've gone over it about 3 to 4 times with the 1000 grit, and I've decided that's good enough to hit it with the 1200 next. This side obviously is sanded. This side here has not been touched. You can still feel the dust in the finish. This side here is like smooth,
like glass.
Nice and smooth and
right.
like glass. So as I continued around the boat, I find the spots that are hard to, that got more imperfections than other places, and I have to work on it a little bit more, but I get the same results as everywhere else that I've worked on it. So after the sanding is done, we will take this buffer, these 8-inch pads, the Mequiars mirror glaze finish. What I start out with is I use a foam cut compound, and I start out with not a foam buffing pad but a cloth one, the wall cutting pad. After I get done with that, the foam cutting compound and the wall pad, I will put on a foam cutting pad, and usually the color makes a difference on which pad it is. Like the black one is the final finish pad. So we could start out with the red heavy cut, go to the orange medium, blue light cut, then the green soft pad, and the black finish pad. I can skip a couple of them steps to acquire the same finish, because we started using this Mequiars 101 and the Mequiars 205 buffing compounds, and we found that we got a lot better results with a lot less work. So that's where we're at.
That's where we are on the day before Thanksgiving, and this is our update on the 1959 17-foot chris-craft Sportsman. She's at her buffing stage. All the seating is back from upholstery. All the hardware is back from chrome. It won't be too long before we have a boat. So at this point, John, RJ, and Michael want to take this opportunity to wish one and all a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. I will. And we'll see you on the other side of Thanksgiving. And once we've gone a little bit further on buffing this as John works his magic. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boatworks.